Well, good day, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us in today's webinar, Zoom Video SDK, Build with Our Core Technology. On the behalf of Zoom's enterprise marketing team, my name is Ricardo Cervantes. As mentioned in chat, I am located in the Bay Area. We appreciate you carving out some time from your very busy schedules, we are certain, and then sharing that time with us in today's webinar. We have an awesome session in store for all of you today. A couple of things before we officially get started with delivering the webinar to everyone. We're slated for about less than 45 minutes in today's webinar. And of course, as always, we are certainly recording the webinar for you. Post-webinar, you're going to receive a follow-up email. It will be a thank you for joining us in the webinar. And of course, the email will contain a link to the recording. You can watch that recording as much as you would like to. We encourage you to also, if you'd like, forward the email on to your colleagues who may have been able to attend today's webinar, and they, of course, could benefit from that information. A couple of extra items that I want everyone to be aware of, just in the spirit of how we're going to be operating within today's webinar. So a couple of items. As always, we are using the Zoom webinar platform in order to deliver today's session to everyone. We are not in a Zoom meeting. So if you just don't mind focusing on the bottom left side of your screen, just notice you're not on video, right? So video is not available to you as a participant. Only myself and my fellow speakers who will be talking in today's webinar will be on video as well as audio. We encourage you to please use chat. Those of you who are letting us know where you're located in around the world, thank you for interacting with us. You can use chat in the spirit of interactivity. When you have questions for us, based on information that is being provided, we kindly ask you to please use your Q&A option. That is located right next to chat at the bottom middle of your screen. Send us your question. We'll provide you with some private responses as the webinar is ongoing. But again, let's use chat more in the spirit of interactivity. Maybe you have some ideas, you want to share some insight with us. That's when you use chat, or maybe someone on the panelist side will ask a question and ask you to respond. You'll interact using chat, okay? As mentioned, we are also recording the webinar for you. So just in case you joined us just a couple seconds late, no worries, we're just kicking things off. And at this stage, I'm going to transition us over to showcasing who is going to be speaking in today's respective webinar. So I'm joined by my colleague, Tim Slagle. He's head of developer relations here at Zoom. We're also joined by Donald Toomey, director of product management for Twilio. And last but not least, my colleague, Tommy Gessler, Video SDK lead at Zoom as well. So again, thank you so much for joining us in today's webinar. We appreciate your time. At this stage, I'm going to pass the webinar over to my colleague, Tim, and he's going to be leading today's discussion. With that being said, everyone, thank you for joining us. And Tim, right over to you.
Well, thank you, Ricardo, for the wonderful introduction. Thank you very much, everybody, for coming. As Ricardo said, my name is Tim Slagle, and I'm the head of developer relations here at Zoom. We'll be kind of just going through Video SDK, talking about how you can build with Zoom's developer platform and our core technology, which is what the Video SDK is. So today, we'll be going over kind of just an intro to what the Zoom Video SDK is and why you might find it valuable. The partnership that we have with Twilio, which we are grateful to have them on board and working with us, innovating with Zoom's Video SDK, and then also building for the future. And you'll hear from Tommy on those items as we get to those. So starting off, the intro to our Video SDK. And so our Video SDK, for those of you who don't know, we have a developer platform here at Zoom, and we surface multiple different types of integration points, types of technologies. And you'll see here, this is kind of an overview of all the things that we do. And we kind of delineate them into these different categories. We have connect, we have surface, access, embed, and build. Now, there's kind of a back-end layer. That's the connect and access. That's your traditional integration point. That's kind of, APIs, webhooks, those sorts of things. And then you have surface and embed. And those things are, our meeting SDK, which is taking our our core technology and our core meetings app, I should say, and embedding it into your application. Whereas we also have the Surface, and that is kind of taking your application and maybe adding it to a Zoom experience. So we have a lot of different ways that you can interact. But today, we're going to be talking about the build functionality specifically. And that kind of, it's on the end there because it really takes all of these principles and kind of gives them to you as a core technology package, as a programmable video SDK that allows you to take not our tailored experience. You look at that embed, kind of there's that tailored Zoom meeting experience, but there's also this core underlying technology that empowers our meetings product, and we kind of rip away all the details and we give you access directly to that video and core technology, video, chat, kind of all of those things as well. So that's how you can kind of think of the video SDK as we're talking about this today. It's really, again, a package of Zoom's core technology kind of handed over to you so that you don't have to think about video, you don't have to think about those things. You can just build the product that you're building, and we will deliver to you high quality video that you know and love from Zoom, that you're familiar with kind of through all of our other products. And so kind of talked about this already, but to kind of dive a little deeper, we really want to empower you to build kind of custom video experiences as you think about building your product, right? So we want you to focus on what you are familiar with, that subject matter or the area of expertise that you are, whether you're a healthcare provider, whether you are a financial services, whether you are in some kind of industry vertical, you have that very specific core kind of subject matter expertise. And we want you to be able to deliver video experiences in that without having to think about anything. And so you can use this to scale across use cases, as well as gain insights. We have the ability for you to really nail down, as you're using the video SDK, how well that's going, how your customers are appreciating it, whether the quality is good for them, all that kind of good stuff, and really making sure that as you're delivering that experience, again, all in the effort of kind of removing the ability for you to have to think about it. You can check some metrics, you can embed it, and you're good to go, and you are off to the races. So that brings us to our partnership with Twilio, and we thank you, Donald Toomey, for joining the call today. Maybe quickly, you just want to introduce yourself, and then we can kind of get into the meat and potatoes.
Sounds good, Tim. Yeah, thanks for having me. So my name is Donald Toomey. I'm a director of product in Twilio. So I've mostly worked on programmable video, but I've also worked on our live streaming offering and also programmable voice. So before Twilio, I worked for a video API startup. And before that, I worked for Ericsson and Microsoft. So I'm very excited about this partnership between Zoom and Twilio. I think both companies have had similar trajectories. They were both small startups 10 years ago, but now they are leaders in their respective industries. So Twilio is strong in the programmable communication space, or CPaaS. So programmable voice calls, programmable messaging, and also programmable email. And Zoom is strong in the video conferencing and cloud communication space. And I think, over the last few years, Zoom has really driven the innovation in the video conferencing space. And this has really forced all the other players to up their game. So I'm very excited about this partnership.
Awesome. Very cool. Thank you so much. And so, yeah, I mean, we have really enjoyed, and I think Donald, we have enjoyed working with Twilio for the same reasons that you just mentioned, but vice versa. And so as we have been working with Twilio and working through these this partnership, we've had to think about kind of how to best do that. And what we want to do is we want to provide this kind of like last, the last migration you'll ever need. We have, security and privacy and all of those things at the forefront. And so as we kind of think about, and you already kind of talked to it a little bit, Donald, but if you wouldn't mind, just kind of giving an overview of as you were thinking about how to move forward with delivering great experiences for Twilio customers. Why did you choose to work with Zoom, and what were kind of the major selling points as you thought about working with us?
Yeah, I think that's a good question. So obviously we knew that the sunsetting of Twilio Video would be painful for our customers and would require rework in their applications. We hoped that we could mitigate some of this pain by bringing in a great migration partner. So then when looking for a partner, we had two kind of broad areas of analysis. So first of all, we looked at the capabilities of the company, both from a financial perspective, but also a resourcing perspective. And then we also looked at like their commitment to video as a communications channel, right? Was it like front and center, or was it just a side offering? So video, is a challenging channel. It has to work over the open internet. It has to work all over the world, regardless of where the end users are located. And then it has to work like on a myriad of browsers and devices. So we needed a partner that was invested in video for the long haul, and also had like the R&D horsepower to tackle the really hard problems that video throws up. So I'd say that the second area of analysis was, the platform capabilities and the feature set, right? So we were looking for somewhat of a like-for-like platform offering. So in other words, like a compatible feature set, but also some extras like transcriptions that we knew customers were looking for. So we were, looking for a similar pricing model as well, usage-based pricing that customers are familiar with. And we felt like, across those two broad categories, Zoom ticked all the boxes, right? So Zoom is committed to video as a communication channel and has been an innovator in the space. Will Zoom be innovating in video in 10 years' time? I think it will. And, Zoom has the resources to help customers in their migration journey. We were happy with the feature set, the supported devices, and I think there's like an exciting roadmap that Zoom will be sharing at some point. And finally, I think you touched on it earlier on. We were able to collaborate with the Zoom team on a migration guide, which I think is a great resource for developers looking to migrate their video app over to the Zoom Video SDK. So all in all, I think Zoom is a great partner in this initiative.
Great. Yeah, thank you, Donald. Again, we're really excited, and I think our goal right through this partnership is to really provide a one-stop shop solution where people can find that parity, find that it seems familiar, even though it's different. It still seems familiar.
Yeah.
And that at the end of the day, we're here to help you through all of those road bumps as you find them, because as we all know, development is never a straight line, and it has ups and downs, and so we're here to help you through those as you find them. So, Donald, any other last thoughts before we move on, or?
Yeah, like I think Video API is all about custom and bespoke video applications, right? So when developers are building this, they really want to own the user experience and control their brand. And I think with the Zoom Video SDK, developers, they get to harness the Zoom video infrastructure, but they can still deliver their own unique, user experiences and workflows, right? So effectively, they get, the best of both worlds. So Zoom has like 10 plus years of experience running real-time video at scale over all types of networks, right? So that the reliability is going to be good. And then I also like that Zoom has developed their own custom codecs that are tailored to video chat and then resilient to the kinds of network problems that you experience. So, finally, Zoom has proven track record on innovation. I fully expect that to continue into the future. Developers are building these kind of unique and sometimes groundbreaking experiences. And I think Zoom can provide developers with the new features and tooling to really empower them to create these. So excited to see what people build with it.
Great. Thank you. Thank you so much, Donald. Really appreciate your time today.
Yeah, no problem.
Okay, so next up, we're going to hand it over to Tommy. Tommy, take it away and talk about how innovating with our SDK works.
Awesome. Thank you, Tim. Thank you, Donald. So let's jump into it. I'm Tommy Gessler. I help lead our Video SDK platform, and I'm a developer, and I work with developers every day who are building with our Video SDK. So like we discussed, the Video SDK allows you to build with Zoom's core technology. It's a true developer-first product. We've packaged the core technology, open it up for developers. It's session-based, so it's different than Zoom meetings. It's billed per minute of usage. So there's no user accounts needed. There's no Zoom accounts needed for your users. You're able to build for your own user interface. So really, that's what your users are interacting with, your user interface. And then we're powering that audio and video connection. So you can think of it like your own video cloud. Zoom meetings can't join into this Video SDK session. Other Video SDK accounts can't join into it. So it's truly your own Video SDK cloud. And you can build a lot of really interesting things. You could even rebuild Zoom meetings if you wanted to. So you're building with our infrastructure as well. Let us handle the scaling for you. Video SDK works globally, and you can even select which supported data centers you want your traffic to route through, and even what content, which data centers your content stored in. For example, if you're using cloud recordings, where do you want those to be stored in the Zoom cloud? So talking about scale, you can have up to 1,000 real-time two-way audio and video users in a session at a time, and you can scale how many concurrent sessions you need to your needs. There's no limitations there. And joining a session is very simple. You're just calling a client-side function, passing in a session name that's an identifier, passing in a name of the user who's joining, and then a token and even a passcode if you'd like. So it's very, very developer friendly. If you want to go past 1,000 real-time users, you can even live stream to an unlimited view-only audience. And then we're always looking at delivering new features. So our release cadence with the Zoom Video SDK is monthly. We have new features in there, enhancements to existing functionality, bug fixes coming out every month. We're looking at other parts of the Zoom ecosystem and seeing what other technologies that developers can build with and opening those up as SDKs. And we always love listening to our customers and developers on new ideas and new features, and seeing what those look like, how we can make use cases come possible, and really evaluating all these exciting ideas. So digging into our platform support, we have many platforms. So you can build natively in iOS, Android, Mac OS, Windows, even Linux. And we have Unity and beta. And then we have, of course, web. So building in that browser environment. And again, this is using our core technology from our native and web clients. So sort of like this experience we're having today, or on a Zoom meeting, letting you build with that type of technology. And then digging into our Video SDK stack, I know Donald mentioned our custom codec. So we use the custom video codec based on H.264 scalable video codec. Now, and then we apply our own secret sauce to that, and then we tune that for various device capabilities, CPU, network conditions. So really taking all of that tuning off your plate, and then giving you, an optimized codec. Now you can always tailor it, but by default, we handle a lot of the complexity there. And then we use the Opus audio codec. Now on web, we have a unique web architecture and stack. We optimize each component of the web stack. So we use a number of web standards like WebAssembly and WebRTC, but we go further. We're always looking to optimize each part. So we use a lot of our proprietary technology and code in the web stack using WebAssembly. And even, code from and WebAssembly allows us to, use our C++ code from our native client and then run that on web. So we're always optimizing for performance. So obviously we have audio and video features, right? We have HD video, up to 1080p video sending on web, 720p rendering on web. We have virtual background, live streaming, like I mentioned. We have audio connection, so you can connect to a session with your phone over a phone call. We have SIP support, H.323 support for those types of room devices or connections. We actually have granular audio control as well. So in one session, you can limit who's hearing who and at what volume. So that can be used in a video game use case where maybe you're walking closer to someone, you start hearing them louder. We have raw audio and video, so you can do your own custom processing there or build custom transcription services or video analysis. We have pan, tilt, zoom support, camera control, advanced AI noise suppression, and then the opposite of that, stereo sound, high fidelity sound, good for music use cases and even healthcare use cases. For like a stethoscope, you want to hear as much noise as possible. And then going beyond audio and video, thinking about building a video application, there's other items in there that you may need, right? You may need in-session chat, like we have a chat going on right now, file transfer, cloud recording. We actually give you a number of cloud recording formats out of the box. So we compose those for you, but we actually give you the ability to have individual audio and video files if you wanted to compose your own custom use case. Live transcription and translation. So while I'm talking, you get JSON in real time of what you're saying. You can even translate that in real time. That could be used for a closed captioning feature in your app or even a note-taking feature, a summary feature. And then subsessions are Video SDK's equivalent of breakout rooms. So you can, break out those 1,000 users in that session to smaller groups, great for education use cases or roundtables. And then command channel, we actually give you a WebSocket layer so that you can pass state around through the Video SDK instead of having to use your own webhook infrastructure. So a lot of exciting things we can build with the Video SDK. And let's talk about some developer experience items here. As a developer, I want to use the main package managers in my environments, and we have our Video SDK on npm. We even have a CDN version if you're using a non-Webpack environment. And then on iOS, we have Swift Package Manager and CocoaPods, and then on Android, we have Maven support. And then distribution, again, we have those 8 platforms, 8+ platforms with Unity. And then on the browser environment, we support all the major desktop, mobile, tablet browsers, and even web views. So if you're looking to build one implementation with web, but you want it in your iOS and Android app, you can use a web view. But of course, we also have the native iOS and Android video SDKs. And then enablement, allowing developers to build, for their use cases. In a session, there could be different roles and sort of levels of permission for the users. So we allow you to have co-host, host, user, but then we give you a custom field if you'd like to build your own user permissions or identifiers. And then we have REST APIs and webhooks as well that can give you, some control over the session from the server side, and some data like quality of service, and webhooks getting notified who's leaving when, and then really driving into the visibility of the performance of the session. We actually give you a quality of service data, but also a dashboard, so you can visualize in real time, or visualize the past sessions, like what was the scoring on my past sessions the last month, what was the audio video quality like, the network conditions. And then lastly, Zoom prioritizes security. We have encryption for our Video SDK platform, follows the same standards that Zoom meetings have in the Zoom ecosystem. And data routing preferences. If I want my traffic to route in certain countries, I can choose that. If I want my cloud recordings to be stored in certain countries, I can do that. And then obviously HIPAA is important for healthcare use cases. So we have controls that enable HIPAA compliance as well. So definitely a lot to cover there, a lot of exciting features. And then just thinking about use cases, we're seeing a lot of amazing healthcare use cases, custom telehealth appointments. Zoom's powering that audio video connection, but the end user is experiencing the healthcare provider, the health tech company's user interface and flows. AR VR is possible with our Android and Unity SDKs. Education, we have a lot of features for education, like screen share. You can actually send multiple screen shares, so if students want to share their work, the teacher can go through and view their screen share. And we have support for second camera, so the teacher could be sharing their face and talking, right, but then also sharing a document camera with work on it. Retail influencer marketing is a big one. E-commerce, we can Zoom video can power those types of experiences. Social video chat, gaming, live streaming, and embedded systems, even hardware. We built a claw machine powered by the Video SDK, using our video, so you can see the claw machine remotely, and then our command channel to pass through, like left, right. Okay, drop the claw, grab it. And we even made a remote controlled car with the Video SDK. So a lot of exciting use cases out there. And again, we are amazed at what everyone's building, and if there's ever something that we need to do or deliver, we're happy to evaluate that to make those use cases possible. And then building for the future, just want to touch on some of our roadmap items and some things that we've delivered recently. So even before we get to this roadmap, we've invested in UI toolkits. So a pre-built interface for the Video SDK, sort of a low-code solution. So you can just drop in the SDK into your iOS, Android, or web application. Because the Video SDK out of the box, is completely open. It's designed for you to plug it into your existing user interface that you've designed. And then Unity support was released recently. But looking at 2024, we're always looking at improving performance across our Video SDK platform. Developer insights, we're looking to give and open up even more data for developers to know what type of quality and insights are happening in their session, and opening up a lot of the when I say opening up, I mean giving you access to tons of data in real time with our quality of service subscription. And then AI companion, on the Zoom meeting side, we have the smart summary feature. So after a meeting, it sends you a summary of everything discussed. We're looking to bring that to Video SDK as well. so that you can get a summary of the meeting in a webhook, for example, and then based on that you could pass that through to your AI, your note taking, your compliance, getting that data easily to build for your use case. And then again, customer requests. Zoom was built on customer feedback and requests and ideas, and we love working with our developer community on that, and delivering those items and seeing how we can enable use cases. All right. Well, let's talk about how to get started. It's really simple. It's a self-serve process. You can go to our documentation or our product page to get started. And then on our pricing page, you can sign up for an account. Our Zoom Video SDK is sort of a separate account than Zoom user accounts. You could think of the Amazon.com store versus AWS relationship. That's sort of how we've done this at Zoom. We have our Zoom user accounts, and then we have our developer Video SDK account separately. So you can sign up for that account. We give you 10,000 free session minutes a month to build on. That's great for building POCs, small projects. And then from there, we have bulk pricing, and we can get in touch with our developer ISV builder team, and we have developer support, tutorials. We're really focused on the developer experience and enabling developers and supporting them with our community, our support channels, and our documentation there. So yeah, thank you for joining, and we'd like to open it up to Q&A. I see some great questions being asked here. So does anyone have any questions about the Video SDK?
Thank you, Tim, for that portion of your presentation, along with, of course, Donald and Tim and everyone, really just providing insight into today's topic. We've been pretty busy in chat as well as Q&A. So just before those questions start to become answered by our panelists, just wanted to provide some extra insight into some details in your chat panel. Every link that any panelist or an alternative host has sent your way, please click on those links. They'll open up for you in a separate browser. We do recommend that maybe you create a folder in your favorites, maybe call it Zoom Developer, and then save that resource in that respective folder, just so that it's nice and organized for yourself. But reason why I mention that is because you're not able to save the information from chat in this webinar environment. So I want to make sure that you take advantage of the resources and just click on those links. If you don't want to, that's okay. They will be provided to you in the recording. There's going to be a chat section there for you. And if you just copy the link and then paste it into a new browser, you'll be led to that respective resource. So just wanted to buy some time there so that my panelists are prepared to answer some questions. And gentlemen, if you want to just randomly pick something that you see in the Q&A panel that you would like to provide an answer to, you're definitely at the liberty to do so.
Great. Thank you, Ricardo. Tommy, if you're okay with it, I'll kind of just pick some out of the questions here and we'll answer them.
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay, great. First off, and this is a more technical question, so Tommy, if you wouldn't mind, is it possible to enable one user to toggle on-off echo cancellation and noise cancellation within the call?
Yes, so we do give you functions, client-side SDK functions to toggle noise cancellation.
Great, awesome. I think the answer to this is no, but Tommy, you're closer to the roadmap than I am. Are there any plans to provide a .NET client for your API?
A .NET client. I would love to hear more about that use case and need. However, I have seen our SDKs integrated into .NET. So I believe it's possible for a specific sort of library, SDK, or wrapper. Would love to learn more about the need there.
Okay. Mert, if you wouldn't mind, if you have some more details, you can put them in chat, or if that answered your question and you're happy, then that's fine too. But we're happy to hear some more details if you have them. Okay. Let's see here. Where/whom do I talk to for integration of Zoom capabilities? Where do we start? I think this is a question that actually let me and Lakshmana, I believe is how I pronounce it. If I butchered it, I'm so sorry. But I believe that is a question of kind of where do you start with this video SDK thing? And I think Tommy's going to type an answer there to you, but basically our documentation, which you can find at developers.zoom.us. If you go to that web address, you will find all of our documentation. And I think Tommy has shared some of that as well. And you can get started there. And then if you have questions, you can reach out on our forum. You can reach out, through those means. And there's some other support options there that are linked on our docs site. And we can get you some help if you need help. Hopefully that answered your question. If you have another one, definitely please let me know, or if I didn't answer it the right way, please ask again and we'll answer it for you. One question that I already did answer that I'm going to answer live as well is somebody asked whether our video SDK is HIPAA compliant. The answer that we give that is that our video SDK is HIPAA ready. At the end of the day, we don't store any of the data that is facilitated by a video SDK session. And so we are ready to support HIPAA use cases, but we don't have that direct compliancy because we don't actually have to store the data and don't store the data. And so as a result, we're here to support your healthcare use cases, and we do support many today. And so we are HIPAA ready and ready to support any of your healthcare kind of vertical use cases as you're building against them. Let's see here. Do you have a sample app that's written in Swift for video SDK? Tommy, you want to take that one?
Yeah, great question. We do have our UI toolkits. It was written in Swift, actually. So that could be a useful resource. Let me grab that link. And on our documentation, we have a number of, I believe we have Swift code as well. So that Swift code documented in the guides. And I'll just put some links as well. All right.
Okay, and we'll do one or two more here. I think I have one here that I want to go ahead and answer. With a web app built with the video SDK, can we still have a host that starts the meeting? If so, what would attendees see if the host has not started the meeting? Do we need to handle the waiting room functionality as well? Tommy, you want to take that one?
Yeah, great question. So our video SDK, the way it works is the first user to join initiates that session. And that user could be the host, or it could be just a user in terms of our roles and permissions. However, you have control, right? So if you're wanting to build a waiting room, you can easily build the waiting room flow that meets your needs.
Yeah. So awesome, cool. Basically, you get to control the entire experience, and so if you need a waiting room, you can definitely build one and facilitate that sort of an interaction. Let's see here. Let's do one more here. we have need for our healthcare practice software to integrate with phone, messaging, telesessions, video, audio, etc. Sorry, I'm having trouble reading the last part of this. Transfer capability from the point the patient checks in, transfer. Okay, so are you saying, I think what this question is asking is that between all of these different messaging points or avenues, phone, text, video, audio, all of these different things, that you want to be able to kind of elevate to different levels of those things. Maybe they start in chat, maybe they start with phone, but then they go to video kind of, and they might be able to transfer between kind of each of these different levels of communication, whether that's video or audio or etc. And can you transfer between the two? And the answer is yes. Again, you get to control. That's the beauty of the video SDK, is you get to control the experience. And so we provide to you the technology, and we have, again, video and chat, and audio is just a video session with no video, and so you can control all of these things and elevate to them as you need to, because you control and own the session. So hopefully that answers your question. I think that was what you were asking. And if you have any more questions, definitely let us know, ask on the forum. As for that, I think we are ready to hand it back to Ricardo and kind of close out our session for the day.
Awesome. Tommy and Tim, thank you again for answering those questions from our Q&A panel coming from the participants. Appreciate that insight. I saw a couple of people asking, can you resend those links? All you have to do is scroll in your chat panel for the links that we've been sending throughout the webinar. They don't go anywhere until we officially close out this session. So if you feel that you're a little rushed, that's okay. I'm gonna go ahead and close this out, but I'm gonna leave the webinar open for about 2 minutes with some exit music, and you can just scroll up and down and click on all of those links. Or remember that the same links will be available to you in the recording. In that recording, there's a chat section that you can click on, and all the links that we've sent to you will be in that chat section. So that might save you some time if you need to get going. Again, I want to thank all of you for joining me in today's webinar. I certainly want to thank my colleagues as well as Donald from Twilio in joining our session and providing that customer testimonial for us. And we certainly hope that you were able to gain some amazing insight from everyone who spoke in today's webinar regarding our developer program. So with that being said, and on the behalf of Zoom's enterprise marketing team, thank you so much for joining us today. Stay happy, healthy, and positive. And until the next webinar, take care, everyone. Bye-bye.